Hi there, I'm Pastor Gary Boles, and I'm so excited about starting a seminar actually in forgiveness. And this will be our first session, and we encourage everybody to stay tuned. There's going to be some exciting and life-changing information that's going to be shared with you. This is our introductory session, and the title is Drop Your Rocks, dealing with forgiveness and forgetfulness. And the benefits, not only the physical benefits of forgiveness, but also the emotional and mental and spiritual benefits. When you deal with forgiveness, you're dealing with three types or three levels of forgiveness. There is the personal, which deals with each individual as we go through things in life and on an individual basis, to be able to be set free and not carry any kind of grudges against people. It's liberating and it sets you free. I forgive because it's beneficial for me as a human being. I live better. I'm able to go to sleep at night and not worry about anything. It just helps me in my health and helps me in my finances and my social life as well. But also there is what the relational forgiveness as well, because many are in relationships and maybe those relationships aren't perfect, aren't ideal. And so we find ourselves in contention and conflict. And so we are going to teach how to go about reconciling those particular relationships, those toxic relationships, and how to make them better. And then lastly is the spiritual forgiveness that we want to look at. As God forgives us, we are to forgive others. And as we forgive others, then we are forgiven as well. And so even if you're not spiritually orientated, but you can really benefit from the relational, and even if not that, you may not be in relationships, but you can benefit from the personal. So many people, I talk to on a daily basis, and they tell me, I have no problem in forgiving people. My relationships are good. I befriend people. I don't carry any grudges. And then I said, well, let me just test and see if that's actually true. And so I tell them, let me just ask you some questions, and maybe you can use your imagination in this too. When was the last time that you had maybe a toxic relationship, you had contention? What was the last time that you experienced something where it brought out your anger and your blood boiled? Somebody did something to you and it upset you. The fact is it made you angry. You were beside yourself. You may have done or said something that you weren't proud of, and something that you regretted. And in that, did you think of different things, different voices in your head saying, you could have done things better. Or you could have really gotten back with that person and you had revenge in your hands and you had the opportunity, you could have done that. And normally when people reflect back and they take that nostalgic trip back in that past experience, then they see, that they really haven't forgiven that person because the adrenaline starts flooding their system. Their heart starts beating faster and faster, and some even start sweating. And it lets them know, and it lets me know, that they really haven't gotten over that situation. I like, some of the definitions that I've heard about forgiveness. And since one person said forgiveness, we should forgive immediately, because it just really runs havoc and makes even those who offended us, it really makes them angry. And another said that forgiveness is me and you giving up our rights, of revenge of that other person who has wounded us. That says, I give up my right to hurt you because you have hurt me. I think a lot of times, it's not that people don't forgive. I think a lot of times we don't understand forgiveness. And so I'm going to just share some things that forgiveness is not. For example, number one, when you forgive someone, it does not guarantee that you will forget or that you really should forget. Even though that God forgives and he forgets, but God is different from us at this level. When you forgive somebody, what it does is benefits you because it touches you, because you cut the shackles of that person causing you pain, so you're able to look at them and think about them in a loving fashion rather than in a hateful way. When you forgive somebody, it does not say that you won't remember, because things that happen to us, whether they be extremely good or extremely bad, we have a tendency to file those experiences in our data bank. And so you can really genuinely forgive somebody, but still remember what they have done. And so forgiveness is not just, the ability just to forgive or even to reflect back and take those things that happened in the past, or to be able to forget them. But it's your ability, even though when you retrieve those past experiences, they don't cause you harm. They don't cause you remorse or pain when you think of that event or that person. Number two, forgiveness does not condone the wrong act of others. It doesn't. When that person hurts you, just because you forgive them, it just doesn't cross that thing off or condone it or sanction it, saying, just because I forgive, that it makes it all right. What they did to you is wrong. And it stays wrong even when you forgive them. But what it does is sets you free. It cuts the shackles so you're not carrying that pain. You're not looking at that event or that person as causing harm to you. Not only in the past, but in the present and in the future. So you're able to bring closure on the things of the past that affects your present life and programs a better future for you. And then next, thirdly, forgiveness, the ideal or the objective is to bring reconciliation for those who have offended you, or maybe you have offended, to bring you together. But it doesn't guarantee reconciliation. See, you can ask for forgiveness of the individual. That's what we should do. Whether we are right or wrong, we should ask forgiveness. And I know a lot of people have difficulty with that, but that's the right thing to do. But then as far as reconciliation, that other person has a right to not forgive you. But it has set you free because you have done what you're responsible for. So the ideal would be that forgiveness would bring reconciliation, but there is no guarantee. And lastly, number 4, forgiveness, amen, the objective of forgiveness is pardon. But yet, when you forgive somebody, amen, then it doesn't wipe out that event or that person in your mind. It doesn't cancel everything. And the ideal is to bring pardon, but it's not guaranteed. But you can forgive without it even being pardoned. It is so important for us to realize that forgiveness is healthy. The saying is, we forgive to live. And I'm just amazed at the documentation that's out and the research that's out there in the psychological world and also the medical world. You've got hospitals, Duke Medical Center, you've got Stanford Medical Hospital, you've got the Florida Hospital. They're doing research because it's been proven when we carry animosity or hatred or envy or jealousy within it, hurts us more than it hurts anybody else. And it's been proven that it causes high blood pressure, our blood pressure to rise. Anger causes a rise, an elevation in blood pressure. So when you look at something, a technique like forgiveness, something as simple as forgiveness, it lowers blood pressure. It takes away and lowers the anger level. So therefore, forgiveness is good. It's therapeutic for health. Isn't that amazing? And we understand, through research that we can teach certain methods that are practical, that help you to do things on a daily basis so that you're not carrying these burdens around. That you're going around and befriending people and having solid relationships, mutually beneficial relationships. Things will happen. We're not going to always get along. But through these techniques and through the trainings that I'll be sharing with you over these next coming weeks, then you'll have some practical methods to use on a daily basis. And then you'll receive the benefits at the physical level, the mental, emotional level, and the spiritual level. And you'll be amazed because it's empowering, an empowerment given to you that I am responsible for my health. I'm responsible and for my attitude and for my character. It is so good to have something that you can use to make your life even better. I like the definition. I wrote it down. I just want to share this with you. I think you're going to get benefit out of it as well. Of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the process of reframing, re-examining, re-looking at your past, something in your past of a person. Reframing one's anger and hurt from the past with the goal of recording or recovering one's peace in the present and realizing one's purpose and hopes for the future. My brothers and sisters, what it's saying, that's empowerment. It's holistic. It's dealing with the past, the present, and the future. That I can bring closure on the things and the people, amen, in the past. So those things won't hurt me or haunt me in the present. And then I'm able to deal maybe with a toxic or the negative emotion and thoughts that I have on a daily basis, which frees me and empowers me and catapults me into the future to live a more effective and a beautiful life. Isn't that something? That's what I want you really to understand, the answers of here. And it is said in the educational circles that when the students are ready, the teacher will appear. I mentioned that the title of this particular introduction is Drop the Rocks. And I want to give you just a parable as I seek to close this session. Just a parable. Now, a parable, in religiously speaking, it is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. And I want you to see the benefits, and I'm going to explain afterwards really what it all means. It's entitled Drop the Rocks. It's a story of the land of Dura. And in that land, it was hard. Living was very hard. Not only figuratively or symbolically, but it was hard literally. Because you see, the whole landscape was lined with rocks. Just little rocks all over the place. And so much so that even the grass and bushes and trees could not grow. And there was a reason for this. How did it all come to pass? Well, there's a tragic story. It goes like this. An evil sorcerer cast a powerful spell upon the town of Dura. And he said, "Through your eyes you will not see a life of joy or hope or glee. Through your mouths, where curses flock, every angry word shall turn into a rock." And so the people, they would go about and their relationships would be toxic and people would be saying things. And every time they said something ugly or said something evil or hurting, amen, a rock would come down and it would hit them. And then they would, in retaliation, would reach out and pick up the rock, but the rock would be hot. And it would burn and blister their hands. And they would hold on to these rocks, just waiting on the opportunity to throw it at that person who threw the rock at them, talking about saying things that are evil and bad about somebody else. The story of Kaz. And he goes around, and he's being pelted on a daily basis. Amen. And he's harboring these rocks, collecting them and holding them. They're burning his hands. And he's getting callous. But he holds on to them because he said, if I can just get them back, I'm just going to wait, even though I'm suffering. But I've got to get them back. And one day, a person came in town. His name was Salus. And he was just a person at peace. And he was robust and had joy. Had compassion in his heart. And it registered in his countenance. And he says, you people of Dura, you don't have to endure this. You don't have to suffer the way you're suffering day in and day out. You don't have to let your health go down. And you don't have to be sick. And you don't have to die early. He says, emotionally, you're all uptight and you feel anxiety and pain and carrying burdens every day. You don't have to do that. And on a spiritual level, you're confused and in darkness and you're handicapped and you're laboring and burdened down. You don't have to do that because I've got the solution. And he says, all you've got to do is forgive. All you've got to do is drop the rocks. And of course, Kyle says, how can that be? That's too easy. They deserve, amen. They deserve to be punished. They've thrown so many hot rocks at me, and I'm going to get back at them. This doesn't work. It will never work for us.